Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I want to make a series of videos dedicated to creating stock filters, and these will be very handy because say you want to create a strategy where you want a certain market cap or dollar volume criteria. For those filters we need to store them. I don't want to have to keep calculating these over and over every time I backtest something, so it's always a good idea to calculate these separately and store them. And then when you're back testing, you just call these in and then you just filter through the stocks that meet your criteria. So for this video, I'll just make a filter for volume, and the goal here is to have as much information in regards to volume as possible. So we're going to build a function that you'll just pass in the ticker, and then it's going to return the minimum volume, the average volume, max volume, the average price, the last price, and then the dollar volume. And like I said, these will come in handy for when you're backtesting, and then in future videos I will also be requiring some of these filters. Okay, so to calculate the volume, I'm going to need some data. So I'll be getting my data from my database. If you want to search back through my videos on how to create a SQLite database, I have a video on how to do that. It's relatively simple and also faster to request data from. Alright, so I'm going to establish a connection with my database. My DB name is 2026. So I'm going to run these lines. Alright, so now I want to get all available tickers from my database. So I'm going to send a query by running db get query. And then my command is select distinct ticker from get symbols. So I'm basically getting all the unique tickers available in my database. So I'm going to run that. So that was fairly quick, and I currently have approximately 20,000 unique tickers. So I'll convert this to a character array. So to extract the tickers, I'll do tickers $ticker. Now it's formatted the way I want. Alright, so the next function I'm going to write down is to request data from my database so that we can calculate our volume filter. So I'll just name it db2xts. It'll be a function where I just pass in a symbol and it'll return an XTS object. So here I'll just copy these. So here I'll make a request and store the data in db. So I'll convert it as a data frame. And I'll send a query, passing in the connection. Here I'll use paste 0. I'll do select all from get symbols, where get symbols dot ticker equals quote, and then here I'll paste the symbol that I'm requesting data for, quotations, single quote, and semicolon. That will give me all the data for that ticker. And here I'm just going to close my connection by running db disconnect. Alright, so I'm going to test it out to make sure it works. So the symbol I'm looking for, it'll be Apple. I'm going to run these lines. So this is what my data looks like. So now I'm going to convert this as an XTS object. So here my core data will be columns 2 through 7, which includes the open, high, low, close volume, and also the adjusted. So that will be my core data. And then I'm going to order by as date, and that will be db date. Here I have to pass in a format. It'll be percentage capital Y for 4-digit year, percentage month, and then percentage day. So in order to run this line, I need to require, I'll just require quantmod. That will call in my XTS package. So I'll run this line. Now I have an XTS object. But if I make multiple requests, I won't be able to tell whose data or what company this data belongs to. So I need to make an adjustment. So I'll just rename my column names by pasting the symbol name. So I'm just going to add the ticker name, period, and then whatever column name it already has. It'll look like this. And then I'll just return this object. Alright, now I'm going to make the function to calculate volumes. So here I'll just pass in the ticker. Here I'll store my data by calling in the function above. So here we'll test it out. So my ticker will be Apple. Alright guys, so for the volumes, I just want to calculate the last 3 months worth. So here I'm going to write last index minus months 3 comma colon, and then to use months we need to require lubra date, not time date. Alright, so here I'm just getting the last observation of date, which was 6/26. And then here I'm just subtracting 3 months away from this date, which should give us a date in March. So I'll run this line. So now we have data for the last 3 months. Alright, so now I'm going to get the average volume, and I'm going to round down by using floor, mean, VO for volume, and then DAT. So this was the average volume for the past 3 months. Alright, so now I'm going to extract the minimum by running min, VO for volume, DAT. So in the past 3 months, this was the lowest volume. I'll do the max. Next, I'll calculate what the average price was for these last 3 months on the adjusted close. And I'll round that to 2 decimal places. and this will come in handy in case you want to filter out stocks with a certain price. So the average price these last 3 months for Apple was $304.52, and then the last price we'll do as numeric. Last round the adjusted 2 decimal places, and then to calculate the dollar volume we'll do floor. We'll use the average price multiplied by the average volume. Next, I'll combine everything and return a data frame. So I'll use cbind. I'll bind the ticker, and then I'll add a date. So we'll use today's date to know when this data was actually calculated, and then we'll do the minimum, the average, the max, average price, last price, and the dollar volume. So it'll look something like this. I'll rename the column names to symbol, date, min vol, average vol, max vol, the last price, and then finally just dollar volume. And then finally just return all. So we'll run this function. I'm going to remove all the variables that I have here. Alright, so now I'm going to pass in all the tickers so that I get this data extracted for each and every ticker in my database. So we're going to store it in vols, and we'll do pb apply as a list, pass in my tickers, and then my function will be try get vol, passing in x, and then if it does not produce any errors, then I want to return it. Alright, so we're going to require pb apply to use this function. And then finally just run it. So it's going to take approximately 4 or 5 minutes to calculate 20,000 different volumes. So I'll pause it here and then I'll return once this is over. Alright guys, so it's finally done running. Now I did encounter some errors, so I'm going to filter out the volumes to just return complete cases. So here I'll do apply vols length greater than 0, and then I'll use do call or bind vols, and then vols and we'll do complete cases because I want data for all the columns. So I'll go ahead and run these lines. Do call rbind is kind of a slow way to row bind large vectors. Another way you can do this much faster is by using rbind list, but you need to require data table. So that's an alternative to do call rbind. Alright, so instead of the 20,000, I now have 18,000, which is still pretty good. So we'll take a look at that table. So for some of these might be penny stocks. But now we have a nice table that we can just quickly filter through. One thing I wanted to check was the classes inside my table. So I don't want these as factor, I want these as numeric. So I could quickly just filter through them. So we can change the classes by running sapply. So we'll do balls, symbol, sapply, full symbol, as character. So we're going to change all of these. For the numeric type, you can't just do as numeric. You have to do as character and then as numeric. This will be for the average fall. Alright, so for the prices, I'm going to round these to 2 decimal places. Now I'll run these. Now they're numeric. So one of the ways I like to save things in R is to save RDS. I believe it's a serialized file in R. So we'll save vols, and then here you just have to write the preferred file name and then RDS. So the next time you just want to read that file in, you just write read RDS average vols.rds in quotations, and it reads it right in. Alright, so say you wanted to filter some of the stocks. We can just use subset all, and then we want to subset stocks with the average price greater than $10 and dollar volume greater than 100,000. So now we have 5,300 different tickers that meet that criteria. This will make backtesting much easier, and I'll show you guys how to create other filters as well. Hope this video helped out. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next video.